project. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Michaela, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to the web audience around the world. My name is Robin Tim Weiss, and as the manager of the public sector, I would like to first of all describe myself for those who might hear me but not see me. I'm a white European Caucasian male in his early 30s with short cropped brown hair and a trimmed beard as well. I'm wearing a dark blue suit with a striped shirt and a dark black tie. As Michaela reminded us at the beginning of our session, one of the key questions we are set out today to answer is, what does an inclusive and equitable city for persons with disability actually look like? And I will not only outline some answers to that question, but also, and this is a friendly and fair warning, I will be giving you all some homework at the end of my talk, so bear with me. As a background for those who have not yet heard of our work at the Zero Project, we are a global foundation which is based in Vienna, Austria, and our mission is to work for a world with zero barriers. Specifically what that means, worldwide, the Zero Project finds and shares solutions that improve the daily lives and legal rights of all persons with disabilities. Since over a decade, we have collected more than 750 good practices in the field of disability inclusion, which have removed barriers for persons with disabilities in over 108 countries. And it is from this wealth of information that I will draw in my remarks. But the good news is, you have this information at your disposal as well. You can go to zeroproject.org, where all of our work, data, and solutions are digitized and accessible to all in an accessible fashion. Now, as you see in the slide on my PowerPoint, a very beautiful very beautiful image of the National Library in Vienna, Austria. And why do I put this picture there? Livability is a key topic of this World Urban Forum. But what exactly is a livable city? Is a livable city one that provides services to all and ensures the dignity of all humans? Question mark. Is a livable city one that does not exclude some from the diverse leisure and arts scene which we find in cities? Question mark. Now please, to the audience online and in person, raise your hand if you agree that a livable city is only one that works and provides for all, persons with and without disabilities. So I see a lot of raised hands, and I'm sorry to inform you that The Economist does not share your view. Specifically, the Economist Intelligence Unit, a research organization owned by the Economist media outlet, releases an annual global livability index each year. And citizens of Vienna, such as myself, know this index very well because we get to boast and gloat that we are the #1 most livable city in the world. However, disability or inclusion continues to be absent as a metric, continues to be absent as a chapter, or even as a footnote in the most visible and cited livability index in the world. So the unfortunate reality is that disability and livability seem to be like oil and water when it comes to the most recognized livable index in the world. They do not mix, and it's high noon that we change that. Because let's face it, a city which is built for 85% of its inhabitants is not a smart city. Now, there are countless verticals we can talk about in which inclusion needs to happen in cities, transportations, built environment, etc. But I would like to focus on 3 areas in my remarks today and outline first steps which we can take towards becoming a more inclusive and equitable urban area. And those 3 areas are mental health, technology and well-being, specifically that link, and arts and leisure. As I delve into these, and what you'll hear from me are solutions which are already implemented. So my call is, if you are a municipality, if you are a mayor, if you have a state, or if you're a government official, please go to zeroproject.org, find these solutions and contact them. They're there at your disposal. Think of us as a public good and entity, and perhaps I will spark your interest with some of these solutions I outline. In the PowerPoint slide, you see there are two images. And these images are from the first solution I would like to highlight, namely from Israel, specifically Enosh, the Israeli Mental Health Association, which has implemented a project where 3 to 4 women with post-traumatic stress disorder due to sexual abuse share an apartment. A female social worker and rehabilitation counselor, both trained in sexual trauma and dialectical behavior therapy, visits this apartment daily. The service provides personal meetings, group therapy, and peer support. This is where persons with disabilities get to decide their own future, make their own decisions in a safe environment. And if we as a city want to live up to the promise to be a safe space, we need more solutions like this. Because the unfortunate reality is that there's a very tragic correlation between disability and sexual abuse. Recent data from the US Justice Department outlines that people with intellectual disabilities are sexually assaulted at a rate 7 times higher than those without disabilities. So the well-being of the urban population should equally concern us when we talk about technology and specifically digitalization. The legacy of Web 2.0 is contested, and we need to understand how do we move forward to ensure that technology actively promotes the well-being for all, persons with and without disabilities. And what you see on this slide here is a fantastic example of that, namely Beeline Reader, a browser extension and software developed by a US company which allows you to read text easier and process it. It helps you to read and process information easier due to its unique color gradient setup, which pulls your eye from line to line and allows those with visual impairments, ADHD, and dyslexia to learn easier. Look at it and read it for yourself. The text automatically draws you and you start to comprehend information much easier. And now imagine if we unleash this power in cities where persons with and without disabilities all can collectively learn and read easier. Everyone benefits, technology, and well-being. And ultimately, and this is somewhat ironic since I just talked about technology, I think we need to bring it back to our joint humanity. And we need to remind ourselves we're all humans, which means we all share similar traits, similar goals, and similar aspirations. Persons with and without disabilities equally want to go to concerts, share a drink, be intimate with each other, and immerse ourselves in the arts. Often too many barriers prevent us from doing that. So solutions as those you see above, where a group of people have convened together, should occur more in cities. Located in the south of England, the NGO Stay Up Late developed Gig Buddies, a program which supports socially isolated people with learning disabilities and/or autism, and encourage them to be actively engaged in their communities. These individuals are introduced to a volunteer who befriends them and shares the same cultural passions as them, and they then go together to live music, sports events, nature hikes, theater, and other cultural activities.
Robin, could I ask you to make your final remarks as we're running
Absolutely.
short on time?
The
Thank
final
you.
remarks, and this brings me to my homework. If we want to achieve all of this, we can only do it together. We need to share global good practices, we need to share our successes, and we need to share the projects we all work on. Therefore, I encourage you to go to the URL which you see there, zeroproject.org-0call23, and submit the projects you're working on in your cities, municipalities, governments. Let us know the barriers you have removed for persons with disabilities, and collectively together, we can all highlight these solutions to the benefit of all. Thank you.
Thank you, Robin, for sharing these important projects. Now, for our last speaker in this panel, it's my pleasure to introduce Mr. Ian McKinnon,